Okay, so now in this video, which is video number 3, I'm going to show you guys how to make this gorgeous necklace. Now, you may not have everything in here that I have on this necklace, but you can substitute this, whatever I use, you can substitute for something that you have on hand at home. You don't have to use every single bead that I use. You can use something different. And because I didn't have these big, what are they, 10 or 20 millimeter or 50 millimeter, 10 or 12 millimeter Bicones in the Swarovskis in this blue color, I'm going to substitute it for just this really pretty cracked glass, kind of like a pearlescent bead. It's actually really, really pretty. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Kind of doesn't look like you can, but anyway, it's really pretty bead. So for your necklace, you will need a new component, and I'm going to show you how to make this particular component for just the pendant. So in terms of findings, like I said, you don't have to use what I'm using, but I'm going to be using, alright, on my bead here, I'm going to use these really large bead caps that I have. They're actually really pretty. Whoops. Really pretty bead caps that I'm going to use just to hide these big honking holes. And you'll see why I want to cover these holes, because we need to fill them, because this is just going to move around on the eye pin, and we don't want that. So you're going to need 2 of those, and I'm going to show you my one side is my one finished side. As you can see, I've got this kind of hidden. So this is going to be one side of my necklace. You will need some head pins. I'm using 1.5 inch head pins. You can probably use 1 inch head pins. The larger bead is going to need a larger head pin. You are going to need some eye pins, and the head pins, sorry, you're not going to need a large head pin for this. You need an eye pin, a large eye pin for this. So I'm using a 2 inch eye pin, for this particular bead here. So judge yourself accordingly in your head pin sizes. You will need several of these to make your fancy little contraption with your bugle beads here, or you can hang whatever you want off your chain. It's up to you. I'm using that. So you're going to need quite a few of these. On these chains here, I have 16 hanging on each side. So that's 32 head pins that you'll need just for your chain. In terms of eye pins, you're going to need, you know, enough to do. If you do the necklace like me, just have, you know, a good 10 to 15 of these on hand, because I don't know exactly how many you need. You are going to need 8 large size jumprings, and in this case I'm using oval. In this necklace here, I used this twisted 6 millimeter jumpring in this one, but unfortunately I don't have these in a silver plated, so I'm just going to use these oval jumprings. So you will need 8 of those for both sides. You will need some, I believe these are anywhere from 8 to 10 millimeter bugle beads. These are quite big ones, but you can use whatever size bugle bead you want. You don't have to use the size I'm using. Use what you've got. You will need some Bicone crystals, and I used just a regular blue in my components, but on the part here where I'm joining them, I used the AB color. So it's the blue. Toby. Toby! So I used the AB crystals just to change it up a little bit, because if you noticed in the necklace, I used the green bicones on the component, and I used red in the chain. So You can do whatever you want. But I just thought the red looked really nice and stood out really Christmassy. Alright, so you will need at least 4 of these little 4mm bicones in a different color or in the same color. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you, whatever your color choices are. Now, I'm using this chain. I bought this from Beading, I believe. This is where this chain came from. You're going to need about 6 to 6.5 inches, but that is going to depend on how long you want your necklace. So I can't tell you exactly what length you'll need, but this is like a figure 8 chain, so you can see the little 8s in between each link. Okay, so I'm using this chain because I really love this chain. You're going to need 2 6.5 inch links. So I've already got mine pre-cut and measured with the other one. You're going to need a lobster closure. It's pretty dry in here. So you're going to need 1 lobster closure. Let me grab one here. And you'll need a large, I always check my lobster closures to make sure that they work before I attach them to my project. It's a good habit to get into. You will need a large jump ring. On this end here that I'm finished, I attached a large oval, I attached a large oval ring for attaching my lobster clasp to that. And this one here, I'm just going to use a 4mm jump ring to attach it onto my necklace piece. So you'll need an extra one of those in a 4mm. Again, for beads, you're going to need the same beads as you needed for all the rest of your project. You're going to still need your 36 white, 24 blue, and your 3mm bugle beads, 6 bicones. You're going to make the same component. You're just going to change it up a little bit so you can attach stuff to your chain. So let's get the component made and out of the way. Okay, so on your needle, you're going to do the same as before. If you've got the knack of that, then that's great. You're going to start off with your 2 white, then your 2 blue with separated with 11/0 in it. So I'm just getting these on my needle. Why does this look so different? Okay, it's not. Alright, so I just had to check something. Alright, so you're going to start off with your three green, or your 3 blue, 3 sets of blue, and your 3 sets of white. So you're going to make your component almost the same here. So I'm just doing exactly what I've done before. Just running my needle through every single bead. And trying not to miss that 11/0, that's for sure. That's in between your Superduos. Ouch. Okay, and we'll just pull this ring in together. And then I'm going to put my needle through the first 3 beads. So Superduo, 11/0, and a Superduo. And pull that. And then we're going to make our next round, which is the same as our last component. Just going to pick up 2 blues. between an 11-0, 2 whites, 11-0. I'm just alternating the colors here. 2 blues. So I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to complete this round because this round is the same as the other one. Alright, and the next round with all the white, that is going to be the same as well. So once you get this round complete, do the round with that has where you put the 3 Superduos in between the larger areas here, and I'll come back and show you what to do next.
Penis!
Oh shit. That's just my idiot son. Okay, so I'm at that round now where I told you to do the next round as well. And I've completed it by adding all my whites in. So all your white Superduos should be gone. You should have none left. And now we're going to add the last of our blue Superduos in here. So in this round here is where the change is going to be for adding our pendant. So I'm just going to go and add a Superduo here like I would normally. And that one always comes loose, so I just tighten it up. And then I'm going to add a seed bead between the 3 ones, between the groups of 3. So you should have 2 seed beads in there. Pick up your Superduo in your other color, and you're going to add 1 on each side of that single one all by itself. And then you're going to add a seed bead. Your 2 seed beads in where your 3 seed beads or your 3 Superduos are. So I'm just adding a seed bead in here, same as my other one. And now we're into the 2 Superduos. And I forgot to mention too, while I was telling you about materials and stuff that you need all your pliers as well too. Oops, I think I got 2 in there. Of course I do. So we'll just take 1 off and continue on here. Okay, so don't do this all the way around though. Okay. Do this until you have 2 groups of 3 left. So I have my, I have to finish here. So let me get my last 2 seed beads in here before I show you the difference. My Superduos. Okay, and this is what you should have. 2 groups of 3 left, like this, and your 1 Superduo. Before we change this pattern up. And the reason we have to do this, you'll see why. I'm not going to explain it. It's not easy. You're going to pick up 3 11-0s on your needle. You've put your last, you've got your 2 Superduos, so you're working in your group of 3. You're going to pick up 3 beads and go into the next Superduo like that. So you're going to have your 3 sitting on top. Pick up 1 11-0 and go into the next Superduo, like so. Now pick up your Superduo because you're at this single one before that group of 3, and you're going to pick up another Superduo and put those 2 Superduos in place. You're going to pick up 1 11-0 and exit in, because now you're into that group of 3 here, and they don't sit properly yet, so don't panic. Picking up 1, now you're going to pick up 3 11-0s, and you're going to exit into the next Superduo. So you're going to have 3 sitting on top like that. And it's going to be kind of wonky right now, but it'll straighten all out once we get into embellishing it. So you should have 3 here and 3 here. And the reason we did this is to able to get a jump ring in here to attach our pendant. Now, without those in there, oopsies, I see 2 beads I put in here. Oopsies daisies. That's not good. I made a boo-boo. So that one's gone. Fix that up. Snap that bead off. There we go. So now we just have 1 in there. Not sure how I managed to do that, but it's easy to do. Okay, so now you're going to stick your last Superduo on, your very last one. Go into the white one, top of the white one, and in the bottom of the first Superduo you strung on in that round. So you're just basically stepping up and pull your work tight. Again, your work should be domed, the same as your other one. So I'm just going to turn this over, stick my tail in there because it's going to get in my way, and I'm just going to exit at the top here. Okay. Now you're going to finish off this round the same way you did for the rest of this pendant. The only change there was adding these extra seed beads in here so we can hang our pendant from here and here. Okay, you'll see the jump rings will fit into there just perfectly. To try and get a jump ring in here where there's only 1 seed bead won't happen. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to finish my last 3 rows. What the heck, I'll just show you what to do so you guys don't have to go rewind the camera. Or the video, I mean. So pick up a 4mm now because you're exiting in the top of your Superduo, and exit into the next Superduo by placing your 4mm in there like so. Then you're going to pick up 5 seed beads. Alright, and you're going to drop down and go into this center seed bead. And I'm entering that seed bead on the same side where I'm exiting. And we're going to pull this tight. Not too tight. And I'm going to pick up 5 more seed beads. I'm going to go through the Superduo, the fire polish, and again, don't pull tight because you may cut your thread if you pull it tight over top of that crystal there. Because they tend to have very sharp edges. Alright, now once you've done this, now you can pull it tight. Okay? And then you're going to weave through your beads the same as you've done before. Except now on this one here, you've got 3 beads to go through instead of 1. And I just try to go through them that way. Alright. And now go through this bead here before your blue ones. Here. See, everything's pulled nice and tight. And now you're just going to exit in the top of the Superduo like so. You're exiting here and you're going to jump up in there and you're going to pick up your crystal. And you're going to exit into there like so. Pick up 5 11-ohs. Drop down into the 11-oh in the middle. Pull that tight. And then pick up 5 more and go into the Superduo and back into the crystal and pull lightly. Get into the Superduo before you give that an actual tug. Okay? And then continue going into all your beads here, and then get up into this one here and just do this all the way around for this round, and I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I've completed my component. And my 2 little ends are here, so this is where I'm going to attach my chain to my component. And I'm going to need my pliers. So the first thing we want to do is get our beads ready. before we even add our chain and our component. First of all, you're going to pick up your, if you're using a bead cap and a big bead like this, I am going to use 4 8/0s on my needle. So I'm going to pick up the 4 first, and then I'm going to pick up my bead with the big hole and drop my bead over top of those 8/0s. And in fact, it could probably use another 8/0 in there, so I'll drop another 8/0 in there. And that way my head pin doesn't spin around and move around on there, and they're completely hidden. So you are not going to see these 8/0s at all. They're just kind of fillers inside of your bead. Okay, so now you're going to stick your other end of your bead cap on, and we're just going to do a simple wire loop on this. So I'm just going to bend this over. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to make a small loop. I'm not going to make a big huge one. I kind of want to make a mirrored image to this one. So I'm just going to use a small part of my pliers. Alright, and then just fold over. Give your pliers a little turn, and then continue your wrap. So it looks like this. Alright, pull your pliers out. Trim off right close to where your ends meet here. Okay, so I'm going to fix up my loop a little bit because it doesn't look too great. And now I'm going to straighten this loop up. And that loop is way too big, so I'm going to trim off another small piece. And then I'm just going to take my pliers and squeeze that loop closed. There we go. Now we got a nice small loop. Okay, so this is basically what you're making, is just a simple wire wrap loop. And there we go. Alright, now we're also going to make a nice little dangle for in here, part of our dangle. So we're just going to take our head pin. I'm going to take one of my seed beads. I'm going to put one 11/0 on it. Then I'm going to put a 4mm crystal and another 11/0. And again, we're going to make that simple loop, and I'm just going to take my head pin, fold it over my thumb, grab my round nose pliers, just going to make a small wire wrap loop, wrap it over your pliers like so, like that. Give your pliers a turn, finish out the loop. Okay, take your cutters, trim it off as close to where it joins, crosses over, and straighten up your loop. Open your loop and add one end of your big bead in there and close it off. And I'm just going to give it a little squeeze here to make sure it's a good tight seal. And it is. And then, just making sure it's straight, I'm going to open this end here. I'm going to take one of my jump rings and make sure it's completely closed, and it is. I'm going to add a jump ring on there. Actually, this doesn't look very closed to me. Still looks a bit open. Okay, close it. And put that on that one end. And now close up your loop nice and tight. Okay, so that one is closed, like that. Now we want to put another jump ring on here. You don't have to. I like the looks of having 2 jump rings. So I'm having trouble closing this completely tight. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to get my other pliers and I'm going to open this jump ring nice and big. See how big it is? I opened it nice and big. I'm going to grab one end of my pendant where I put the 3 beads on, and I'm going to add my other end that has the jump ring on it. So I haven't done anything with this end yet, and we're going to close this up with 2 pliers. So I can grab that, close this up nice and tight. Alright, so there's one end done. Now on this end here, we're going to do the same thing as here. Get our eye pin, pick up an 11-0, pick up a 4mm crystal and another 11-0, and you're going to do the same thing. Simple wire loop, fold it over, turn your pliers, finish out your loop. Trim it off where it meets the other end, crosses over. Flatten it, straighten up your loop, open it, and add it to your big bead, and close it up nice and tight. Okay, so now you're going to add, I think that looks really nice, this pearly looking bead. So I'm going to open up my jump ring, add it to here, and I'm going to close it up. Nice and tight. Sometimes I have to fight with these oval ones because they don't like to shut nice and tight. But I kind of like them a lot better than just a round jump ring because they're harder to pull apart. And now we're going to take our other one and we're going to open it like so. We're going to pick up the other end, the other jump ring we just put on, and we're going to attach the piece of our chain to it, or one end of our chain, like so. And you're going to close that up nice and tight. And for sure you want to close this up nice and tight because your chain can, if your chain's thin like this, it could just slip through the hole, which I'm sure you guys all know. So I always give my jump rings a little squeeze to make sure that's tight and not going to open. Now on the other end we're going to take our little jump ring, which is our 4mm, and our lobster clasp, and we're going to open this guy up, open it up, attach the other end of your chain, and add your lobster clasp, and close that up. And make sure it's good and closed tight because you don't want your chain slipping through that. Sometimes I can still see a crack in it. So as long as I know they rub together, then I know it's good and closed. And that didn't rub together because I can still see a teeny tiny gap in that. Oops. There we go. Now I heard it click. And now it's closed. Okay, so that completes one side of attaching your necklace, and you're going to do the same thing for the other side, exactly what you did here for this half. Now to get all of these fancy little dangles, you're going to take your head pins and you're going to take your 8 or 10mm bugles, 6mm, it doesn't matter what size bugle beads you have. I would say the bigger the better, because it looks nicer. And you're going to do the same thing, bend it there, and you're just going to make a simple wire wrap loop, like so, over your pliers, give it a turn, finish off the loop. Where it meets, cut, open your loop, and stretch your bracelet or your necklace out. And make sure when you attach all your pieces, you attach them all on the same side. So lay it out nicely like this. And I'm going to attach mine on this side, so I'm going to pick this up, and then I'm just going to close this simple loop. Straighten out my bugle bead. Make sure it's good and closed and it's straight. Okay, so that one's on there. Pick up your head pin, grab your bugle bead, put your bugle bead on, give it a bend, put your round nose pliers, and you're just going to make a small hole or loop. You don't need a big huge loop. And just do your wire wrap loop, simple one. Cut it off where it meets. Open your loop up. Now attach your next one, same side as your other one, and close it. Now you might want to do what I did in advance to doing this. I went ahead and made all of these. Okay, and now they're all open. All I need to do is take them. I've left them all open. Turn my chain the proper way and start putting them on. So it would be like this. Okay, and close. Lay it out again. Pick up your next one. If you do it like this, it's a lot faster. Then you got it out of the way. Count how many you're going to need. I needed 16 because I'm not going to go right to the very end of this chain. Now, I did do that on the gold one. However, on the gold one, I took them off on this part of the chain. So I took 10 of the strands off because this part sits on the back of your neck. And when I put this on, I found this to be a little bit scratchy on the back of the neck. So you just want to leave this part nice and smooth. And if this isn't long enough for you, take another couple off. Wherever you find it scratchy on the back of the neck, they don't sit nice on the back of the neck, they just sit nice hanging in the front, dangling like this. Okay, so don't put them on the back here because you're going to find the same thing. It's going to be irritable back there. So I took them off. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Is I'm not going to go right to the end of this chain because I don't want it to irritate me. And this sets for me for Christmas, as I'm going to wear this with my blue outfit I've got for Christmas. And I'm just going to go off camera now and finish adding all these precious little dangles on here like that. Don't forget to make sure you add them all on the same side. Alright? And when I get done, I'll come back and show you. Okay guys, so I have finished putting on all my little dangles and attached my other piece that I had completely finished, just making this a lot easier. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed making this necklace, or you will enjoy making this necklace because it is really, really pretty. And I will be back on my next video to show you guys how to make the bracelet. Such a pretty necklace. See you soon. Bye.